And today, it is now a felony crime to deface a public symbol of pride in Washington.
The state's law redefined what is considered a hate crime to include the defacement of public property. It comes as the barriers surrounding the Pride crosswalk.
Driving on a gay pride mural is grounds for a felony, yet somehow or another defacing war memorials is not. The stink and the hypocrisy on this story is so absolutely insane that I honestly have no idea where to start.
Downtown Pride mural, police say it was defaced again. Spokane police arrested 3 teenagers for purposefully creating skid marks on the brand new mural last night.
KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez spoke with one woman who saw it happen and brings us more tonight.
So I talked to Kaylee Gaines-Mickey earlier today. She says yesterday evening she was sitting on the patio of O'Doherty's when she noticed a few teenagers on Lime scooters purposely creating skid marks on the mural here. Now, the city just repainted the mural hours before that happened, and the Pride Parade is in just a couple of days.
We see that you have done this thing, and we know your intentions, because people just don't go and do that without intention. You know, you don't destroy symbols without intention behind it.
Let me go ahead and say this before we really dive into this topic. The video, of course, is probably going to be confusing in some areas. The reason why is because there's a lot of things, a lot of crap going on between each point. But the thing is this right here. 5 years over supposedly defacing something that was painted on the road, on the street, versus an actual statue that was put up to honor dead or honor those who fought and did some form of service for the nation. And yet the people who deface those statues don't get punished at all. But yet the people who just drive over a painting that's been painted on gravel or asphalt, they get 5 years for it. I think it's safe to say that one side of the aisle, or at least one group of people, has gone extremely, and I mean extremely, way too far. This right here was the first part of a story that we're going to be going over and that happened in the state of Washington, Spokane to be exact. And of course, we all know that Spokane, Washington is just some crazy right-wing place. And of course, we all know that there's a bunch of BS, especially given this here.
We need your help. And so let me apologize for anything the church has ever done that might contribute to the hate we are currently seeing.
Also, sadness.
These are my fellow citizens that live here. I know it was called vandalism, but it was hate.
It's how we show up for each other in our families, in our homes, in our communities, in our neighborhoods. We got to show people some love.
Spokane city leaders are sounding the alarm about hate in the city after that Pride crosswalk in downtown was set on fire Thursday.
Even the church comes out to apologize for absolutely nothing. You see, the thing is this right here. These people, they sit here and talk about rights. They sit here and they talk about how it is that they don't have any rights. Yet every time I turn around, every single corporation in the world is bending their knee to them. By the way, it's only about maybe 3% of the population, 4% of the population at absolute best. And I would also argue that half of the population is only doing this so that way they can get the advantages of preferential treatment. Yes, I did say that. If you think that I am wrong, I don't really and truly care. However, the point is this right here. This situation at Spokane, Washington, where these boys are now about to go to prison because the governor of the state actually chose to change the law so that way it would be more friendly to said community that is crying about this, should tell you everything you need to know. Now, I showed you guys the first part of the news report, the first part. Now let's go ahead and look at some more of this and see exactly what happened.
Talking to witnesses and looking at surveillance video, Spokane police arrested 3 people. 2 are minors and 1 is 19-year-old Ruslan Turco. Court docs say the teens also yelled slurs and curse words at several of the witnesses at O'Doherty's. Turco had his first appearance in court this afternoon. Prosecutors had asked the judge to set a $15,000 bond since that's how much it costs to repaint the mural. But the judge released him under the condition he just repainted the mural. The teenagers also were just hours away from potentially facing a felony. Washington state law changed today to include defacing public property, not just private property, in hate crime charges. Another interesting point here, the group used Lime scooters to do this, and Lime just put their scooters back onto the streets this week. And if you remember, the reason the city just repainted the crosswalk is because someone set fire to it last month. Spokane police have still not arrested anyone for that. In Spokane, Nicole Hernandez.
Now, before I respond to this stuff, I want to go ahead and say one more thing. There recently was a mural that was destroyed in St. Petersburg, Florida. We're going to be getting to that one too, because that occurred a few weeks ago, and I think the reactions to both in the circumstances are completely different. However, in this case right here, these boys were still teenagers, and of course, they pretty much for the most part just said, screw it, we're just going to go out there and do normal teenage things. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form endorsing what the boys did. That's not what I'm doing. However, I'm pretty sure you guys could pick up on the sentiment that a lot of people are obviously pissed off with this, and a lot of people think that this situation goes a little bit too far. And also something else too, this particular mural had been destroyed before. If you actually go and you actually look up this particular story, chances are you're going to find a lot of thumbnails with a lot of news organizations talking about how it was that this particular mural, this particular painting got absolutely destroyed, got absolutely gobsmacked on several occasions. It seems to me like they probably think that these kids probably did them all. So they're probably going to automatically assume that they're guilty of every single instance that this particular painting or this particular road painting or mural, whatever the hell you might want to call it, got friggin' ran over or got destroyed. The fact of the matter is that people are obviously tired of this crap being in front of their face, and they're simply rebelling. Now, do the kids deserve some form of punishment? Well, they did deface public property, so therefore they probably do deserve some form of punishment. But making the boys felons and sending them to prison, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It seems to me like you guys have gone a little bit too far. Now, something I said in the previous segment about possibly assuming these boys have been doing it the entire time, that's just my theory, but I want to go ahead and tell you right now that it's very possible that in this case here, that it's possible that they could be trying to do that, or it's also possible what you just heard before is that it's not them at all, or it's not been the same person, because obviously the MOs and the way they've been doing this is a little bit different. Somebody set it on fire one time, which is completely, totally based. And then other people use Lime scooters. These right here are your Lime scooters.
And you might find it a bit more comfortable too. You can see it right there. Lime testing out a new scooter in Chicago, and there are about 150 of them on the street now. It has a seat, as you can see. Chicago just the second city to get them. The new models have storage.
A piece of equipment that is known for causing extreme levels of damage. It seems to me that these people have gone a little bit too far, but this right here is what to expect out of a bunch of very, very weak-willed, whiny leftists. This right here is what you're going to get, because these people, quite frankly, can't take a joke, can't take criticism. They have no absolute self-reflection. I say absolute self-reflection because at the end of the day, self-reflection is absolute. At some point in time, you're going to have to look at yourself in the mirror, whether that be literally or daggone figuratively, but once again, though, here we are. However, the thing is this right here. This particular mural, this particular painting, this particular whatever the hell you might want to call it, has in fact, for the most part, let's just say, and I said this earlier, it's been hit before. Let's go back in time.
Top story tonight, Spokane street crews were in downtown this afternoon cleaning up more vandalism from the Spokane Falls Boulevard Pride crosswalk.
Spokane police say someone defaced the mural overnight. KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez is live there right now. And Nicole, how much were crews able to clean up this time?
Honestly, crews weren't able to clean up much. This is the crosswalk at the Spokane Falls Boulevard and Howard Street right by Riverfront Park, and you can see the colors underneath the black here that somebody put over top of this pride flag mural late last night or early this morning. Here's a look at what this looked like earlier while crews were actually actively out here trying to clean this up. Again, they weren't able to get much up. Spokane police say someone vandalized the crosswalk at about 1:30 this morning, and now they're investigating. The city says they should be sending out more details soon. Back in March, Governor Inslee redefined the state's hate crime laws to actually include defacing public property, not just private property. So the vandals could...
And this right here is what I hate about hate crime legislative laws. Hate crime laws can basically be used for anything, okay? Because somebody says something to you, you can now say it's a hate crime. I mean, I hate to say this, but when the television show South Park did an episode back, I think in 2000, 2001, it was the episode about Cartman's sleigh ride and how it was that he went to jail or juvie because he threw a rock at Token. And of course, the school automatically jumped on it and said this was a hate crime, when in reality, what it really was it was just two little boys in the South Park way that were just having a bit of a disagreement. And it was actually Token, the black kid's father, who did a little spiel, a little segment on hate crime laws and how it was that he actually did not like hate crime laws because, of course, hate crimes can be turned against anybody and everybody and used against anybody and everybody. one of the reasons why it is I don't believe in protected classes, okay? I don't believe in protecting anything that has to do with the person when it comes to the topic of class or race. We are all people. We are all human beings, and I thought we had gotten beyond this entire thing. But once again, though, this is also the Rainbow Coalition now saying that if you piss us off or if you hurt our feelings, we're going to, well...
And today, it is now a felony crime to deface a public symbol of pride in Washington.
The state's law redefined what is considered a hate crime to include the defacement of public property. It comes as the barriers surrounding the Pride crosswalk in downtown came down. That rainbow has become a target for vandals who have thrown paint, left black skid marks, and recently, as Nicole mentioned, set fire to the mural.
So now any defacement of the mural could result in a harsher penalty under the new law. The crime is punishable by up to 5 years in jail and up to a $10,000 fine.
Lock you up for 5 years and make you pay a daggone fine. Now, am I condoning what the boys did? No. Do I want to see this stuff in my neighborhood? No, I don't. Do I think that the alphabet community is wrong for throwing this stuff out everywhere in the world so that way people can be exposed to it constantly 24/7, 24 hours a day? No, I don't want that to happen at all. As a matter of fact, it's one of the biggest reasons why people are not liking you anymore. Like I said before, self-reflection, absolute self-reflection is something that these people do not have. It is a virtue that these people refuse to take on. It is a virtue that, quite frankly, does not exist in these people's worlds. But then, when you actually look at this situation, you got to ask yourself a question. Are we sure it's the law, or are we sure, or are we sure it's just the law itself? Well, that right there brings us to a previous situation where this exact same situation had occurred down in St. Petersburg, Florida. You see, a mural got ran over there, a guy was spinning donuts on it, and of course, to go on top of spinning donuts on it, the people in the area were obviously a little bit upset because obviously it's a pride mural and people were upset that, the pride flag the thing has been painted over, has been destroyed. Once again, though, like I said before, these people always take it a little bit too far. It doesn't make any daggone sense. People are beginning to get pissed off with this entire situation, all this wokeness, because it's in their face 24/7. Let's take a look at how the people at St. Petersburg responded. Let's take a look at how they acted as far as, I don't know, maybe demands of what to happen versus what happened in the case of what happened in Spokane, Washington.
I'm Julie Salamone in St. Petersburg. Police are searching for the driver caught doing donuts, damaging the Progressive Pride street mural. Just after 2:40 Wednesday morning, a vehicle is caught on a security camera doing donuts, damaging a Pride mural on Central Avenue in St. Petersburg. Tire marks still visible on the street.
My reaction is disappointment, not surprise. I think anytime we're in a situation where we have public displays of pride, our authentic selves, people are going to have a reaction to it.
Dr. Byron Green Collish is president of St. Pete Pride. He feels someone targeted the mural. He says the mural is visual representation that everyone is welcomed here.
The mural is really a public love letter to the residents of St. Pete. Being able to collaborate with the city and other pride organizations here in the city really feels like love.
Two different vehicles have left tire marks on the mural. One where a driver accelerated on Friday, May 17th at around 9:30 in the morning. The second incident, that vehicle doing donuts. Officers do not believe the two cases are connected. Mayor Ken Welch posted on Instagram saying, in light of the recent vandalism targeting the Progressive Pride flag mural, there is no place for hate in St. Petersburg. St. Pete police say the person responsible faces a criminal mischief felony charge since it will cost the city $1,100 to restore the mural in time for Pride Month festivities.
A massive thank you to the city and being able to jump into action as quickly as they did.
Anyone with any information regarding the driver and the blue vehicle is...
I want to say this. You guys know me. I'm not in favor of any of this pride crap. I think it's gone way too daggone far. But from doing simple pride marches and simple parades to now all of a sudden doing extremely lewd sex acts in the street, it seems to me that obviously Pandora's box has been opened. We can go back to the day that happened. We could even have a discussion and a debate to when it actually happened. Matter of fact, I've got a video I'm probably going to do on that same very topic, especially seeing how the content, of course, has changed to more video essay-like format. The point is this right here. If you look at how the situation was treated in Florida, and obviously there's more in this news report that we'll get to here in a second, then you can obviously see that it's more like, man, this was a bummer. Man, it was a bit of a love letter, even though, of course, people in the city may not appreciate that. And even though somebody obviously spun donuts on it, I don't think the state of Florida or the city of St. Petersburg was looking to completely ruin somebody's life over this. They treated it more like, well, we're just going to make you pay a little bit of fine, maybe do a little bit of community service, versus Washington, on the other hand, where they're trying to lock 2 boys up for 5 years, keep them away from the public, force a fine out of them and their parents over, what was it? A Lime scooter? A Lime scooter of all things? Seriously? You're going to lock these boys up for 5 years and completely ruin their lives because they chose to drive Lime scooters over this mural? Wow. These people really and truly have lost it. Whereas in Florida, on the other hand, the alphabet community is not demanding anybody go to prison at all. They're simply saying, look, it's a bad thing that our art got destroyed. But then again, though, I can also think of some other blasphemous art that got destroyed. And I'm showing you guys the B-roll footage of that. Of course, I'm showing it to you guys again. That way there was the George Floyd mural that got struck by lightning in the state of Ohio. I'm just simply saying that when you put blasphemous murals up, don't be surprised if somebody does not destroy them. The fact of the matter is this right here. You probably shouldn't deface statues. That right there is obviously pretty daggone true. However, the hypocrisy here is absolutely unreal. This right here was not a statue. This right here was a street painting is what it was. Painted right there on the ground by a bunch of people who probably have some, can't really say it. But the thing is this right here. You are going to put these people in prison for that, but yet the people who are defacing war memorials and are constantly tearing down statues and crap, you're going to arrest them? Seems to me like the standard here is just completely gone. I mean, it really, but then again, at the same time, it does make me wonder if it's not really more of an area issue, which I'll try to explain now. For a long time, I've been saying that a lot of what's going on in the United States of America at this moment in time is what we would call, how do I say this? It's pretty much rural versus urban. It's not red versus blue or anything like that. And of course, you've got people out there who have a certain, how do I say, I kind of agree with Felix Rex. That term CW, the Civil War phrase, has kind of been sort of gatekept by some people on the platform. It's been hijacked to a certain degree. And I think it's been used maybe a little bit too much. Now, there is one more thing that I do want to say, okay? And this was right before we get to the end of the video. One of the biggest problems that we have, or one of the reasons why we're in this situation, is because we have one side of the aisle that loves to go too far, but it's also extremely an effeminate side, meaning that it's obviously the much more feminine side, whereas the other side of the aisle, which is supposed to be my side of the aisle, which I don't really fully identify with because I'm not a member of the party, they don't do anything about it. They don't actually create any laws, or actually, well, they do create the law, but they don't actually enforce the law. If you actually started enforcing the law, it would take care of about 50% of the problem. Don't think for one second that I'm just coming out here and just bashing the left, even though obviously the left is the much easier opponent to bash here, but still the point is this right here. The right not being able, or at least the right politically, not being able to actually do what it is that they're supposed to do, which is to enforce the law, or at least stand up and say something, or at least speak out about this, or at least do some form of fighting back, which, by the way, all you have to do with these people is just fight back a hair bit. That's all the hell you got to do. I mean, why is it you think someone like myself and many others tell people don't apologize to the mob? Well, there's a reason why you don't apologize to the mob. When the mob gets you, they're only doing this and they only want you to apologize so that way they can see whether they own you or not. The minute you say no to them, regardless of whether you're right or wrong in this situation, that right there is the minute that they know that they did not get you and that they can't get you. All you got to do is just push back the slightest little bit against these people. If you do that, they will crumble, they will fall apart, or they will run away scared, they'll run away crying. That's kind of what I mean when I say if you just simply enforce the laws, then after a while, this type of crap would eventually stop. But like I said before, we've got a group of people that for whatever reason just don't want to stand up and fight. We've also got politicians who, by the way, don't want to actually enforce the law. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, man, you really and truly have been going off about this situation, where it is that obviously, and I said this before, the left has gone too far. It is the right's inability to have a set of balls or use their balls, which has created this environment for the left to actually go way too far. Now, I want you guys to kind of ponder that really quick when you actually decide to choose candidates to support and vote for when you go out on election day. If you think that I've used it a little bit too much, then let me just go ahead and say this right here. If you think so, then okay, you got me there, because obviously I've used the term too. I've always felt that if something like this was to occur, it would occur in areas of the country. It would not occur on a mass scale, and I think saying mass scale is a little bit too far. I think some people love to use that phrase and pump it up a little bit too much. However, civil disturbances, on the other hand, could in fact occur, and what I mean by civil disturbances is that civil disturbances could occur because of stuff like what you're seeing now. Spokane, Washington went a little bit too daggone far, changed the law so that way if you deface something which quite frankly does not deserve to be a statue or a mural to begin with, now suddenly is now a felony for you to do so, then that right there is pretty much a ridiculous standard. Whereas if you deface a war memorial, say like in New York City or any other state in the country, or any of the major city in the country, you don't get punished at all. You may spend a day in jail and you may pay for the graffiti work to fix it back. That's about all you're going to do. The point is this right here. Statue versus a painting versus a mural are completely two different things. Somebody destroys a mural and yet they go to prison for it, whereas somebody destroys a statue and they don't get punished at all. The standards are completely hilarious. After a while, what ends up happening is that people do in fact get pissed off. First of all, they try it with their vote before it goes to hands or anything like that. However, you're more than likely not going to see anything like that on a nationwide scale because every single area of the country is in fact different. A great example of that would be what's going on right now in Oregon with the Greater Idaho movement. You have like 13 counties that are trying to separate from the state of Oregon itself because the state is so daggone liberal that the conservatives, people who obviously work the more working class jobs, who also work the farms, produce the food for these people to eat, which, by the way, they would still have a job, of course, in obviously farming and providing food for people who, quite frankly, still live in the area. The point is this right here. These people have gotten sick and tired of paying and sending their tax dollars to go to a certain section of the state to pay for a certain class of people that, quite frankly, are not pulling their own weight. So what do? You file a bunch of lawsuits and you try to secede from the state and you try to join another state. Of course, the other state's got to do so. The state of Washington is a state that could very, very well be in the exact same situation. And I want to say that the state of California was also in a situation similar to that, which of course was something like, I think it was the Greater Jefferson movement. I think that's the case. Somebody please correct me in the comments section. I'm doing this video right here early in the morning, and of course doing it early in the morning, of course, is also designed to be a video to get out first. The point is this right here. A lot of times people will just say, to hell with this, I can't stand being in this area anymore because of the stupid laws of the people that I'm around all the time. If you go, say, to my home state, chances are you're probably not going to run into this because I obviously live in a state that while it is in fact purple when it comes to state local politics, it's getting redder and redder and redder. It's also becoming much, much redder or much, much more solidly red when it comes to the federal level. The point is this right here. We typically tend to not live with stuff like this right here. But if you live in a much, much more blue state or a much more purple state, chances are you're going to agree with this. So what eventually happens is that people eventually separate from the rest of the state. It's almost like a type of balkanization, which I think would be more than likely to occur, if anything, and it would probably occur after civil disturbances. But of course, it would also happen once all political movements or all political activities have ceased, meaning at some point in time it eventually stops. But you guys tell me what you think in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys have got to say. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Please share the video. Please sign off in the comment section. I'll see you guys later.